For sources, I really highlighted this new project, SportsFuture.
Yeah, and it really seems to be part of this like broader trend
Rend, yeah,
of Apertum becoming more and more diverse.
definitely. And moving past that initial,
Yeah,
like just decentralized finance.
right. It's not just about the meme coins or like the
Yeah,
quick pump and dump.
yeah, exactly.
And there's some projects coming up now that have like actual stated purposes.
And a lot of the stuff that you sent shows that like there are real efforts to build real world applications.
Exactly.
And SportsFuture seems to be trying to fit into that.
Yeah, it really
So
does.
for everyone listening at home, we really want to like cut through all the noise and help you understand
Yeah,
what exactly SportsFuture is all about,
definitely.
how it works within the Apertum ecosystem.
And why it might be something that you find interesting.
All right, so I think a good place to start would be just talking a little bit about Apertum as a whole.
Okay.
So, like we were
Yeah.
saying, it is a really vibrant ecosystem.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's really telling that the first project that they actually launched on the platform was SKY.
Oh yeah, SKY.
And that one, like, it wasn't just another meme coin.
Right, it had that stated purpose right from the very beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
And it really does like set a really interesting tone, I think,
Yeah,
for the entire Apertum platform. Like,
right.
it wasn't just conceived of as a place for like speculative trading.
Yeah.
And then you have Sports Future coming in as this second project.
Second project on the
Yeah,
DX.
on their DX. But the Apertum family, I mean, we've been seeing
It's getting big.
it's getting so big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So many different projects.
Yeah. So like what else is in the family now?
Well, from the sources you sent me, there are a couple other interesting ones.
Okay.
There was Pug. Pug. Yeah.
And they're trying to bridge the digital and physical worlds
Okay.
with these golden credit cards.
Like physical golden credit card.
Yeah,
Wow. Which is super interesting.
that is really interesting. Yeah.
And then there's ANOUBIS.
Oh, yeah. ANOUBIS. I've been hearing a lot about that one too.
Yeah, a lot of attention
A lot of
and
attention.
a lot of rapid growth.
So it seems like there's this really interesting blend of different types of projects.
Yes.
Some focused on like really tangible utility,
Yeah.
others driven by
What community?
the community.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah, and they're all kind of like coexisting within Apertum.
Exactly.
And it seems like Sports Future is really carving out this nice little niche for itself.
Yeah, as a purpose-driven initiative.
Purpose driven.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's actually get into the core of what Sports Future is all about.
Okay.
Um, what's the point of this project?
So SportsFuture is it's very clearly a purpose-driven project. And they're centered around one main goal, and that's empowering athletes to reach their full potential,
Okay.
not only in their sporting careers, but also in life beyond sports.
Oh, wow. So they're taking kind of
A holistic approach.
a much broader approach
Yeah.
than just like, wins and losses.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
And their long-term vision is to establish this system
Uh,
to provide funding, scholarships, and resources for these athletes
that's amazing.
so they can really flourish.
And one of the things that really stood out to me from the stuff you sent
Yeah.
is it seems like they're really specific about the type of community they're trying to build.
Yes, definitely.
Like what was that quote you had?
They said, we are not for short-term trend chasers.
Oh, right.
We are for fundamental builders.
Yeah. So they want people who are in it for the long haul,
Exactly.
really committed to this mission of supporting athletes.
Yeah, and they emphasize integrity a lot too.
Oh, really?
Like they really want to build something sustainable that will have a genuine impact
Yes.
on these athletes' lives.
I mean, it's a really interesting difference, right, from traditional athlete sponsorships,
Yeah.
where you often see, these smaller athletes struggling to get noticed by the bigger brands.
Yeah. Could this democratize that whole process?
Yeah, could SFUT really change how that works?
It could.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a good understanding of why they're doing it.
Yes.
Now let's talk about
Yeah.
how does Sports Future actually operate to bring this vision to life?
So at its core, it leverages the Apertum blockchain
Okay.
for, a transparent and secure foundation
Yeah,
for all its operations.
that makes sense.
And it integrates with DAO1's decentralized governance model.
Now remind me what DAO1 is again.
Oh, yeah. So DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization,
Right.
which is essentially just a fancy way of saying
Yeah.
that it's community-led.
Okay.
So all the decisions are made by token holders rather than like a central authority.
Okay, so the community really has a lot of control.
They do.
That's really cool.
And that focus on community control and long-term sustainability is what they're all about.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. It's not like a top-down hierarchical structure.
Borrow.
It's much more like,
Community-driven.
yeah, everyone has a say in how things work.
Exactly.
Now, something else that came up in the stuff you sent me was this sports charity island concept.
Yes, the sports charity island.
What is that exactly?
So the sources didn't really get into the specifics of what the concept itself is.
Okay.
But from what I gather, it seems like they want to create a dedicated platform for charitable activities in the sports world.
That makes sense.
So for SportsFuture, it seems like that means building this global platform where athletes can create profiles, outlining their needs and their achievements, and then people who want to support them can easily connect and contribute.
So it's like fostering this really direct link.
A direct link.
Between athletes and their supporters.
Yeah.
Which could be huge.
Absolutely.
And the SFUT token plays a big role in all of this, right?
Yes. The SFUT token is like the backbone of the SportsFuture ecosystem.
So how does it all work?
So it's the mechanism that facilitates all the donations, the distribution of the scholarships, and even potential rewards within the community.
Oh, wow.
So athletes can formally apply for funding.
Okay.
Donors can contribute using SFUT. And then the community decides how all those funds are allocated.
So it's very transparent.
Very transparent.
And it cuts out those traditional intermediaries.
Exactly.
Which can sometimes be a little bit
messy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now another thing you mentioned was the liquidity pool for SFUT.
Yes.
Why is that so important?
So establishing a strong liquidity pool on the Apertum DEX is like the first step for any new token.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fundamental.
For SFUT?
Especially for SFUT.
So why is that?
Think of a liquidity pool, like a vending machine for the token.
Okay, a vending machine.
So if there's enough stock in the vending machine, people can buy and sell the tokens without causing any crazy price swings.
Okay, so it kind of helps to stabilize the price?
Exactly.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And it ensures that there's enough trading activity for the token.
Right.
Which just makes it easier for people to acquire and trade SFUT.
So this initial liquidity pool is really important.
It's vital.
Because it's like the foundation for the whole system.
Yeah. If they want to get those resources to athletes,
they need a strong base.
They need a strong base, yeah.
Okay, so for everyone listening at home, you're trying to learn about all this stuff.
Yes.
Why should you care about SportsFuture?
So there are a few reasons.
Okay.
First, it offers this new model for funding sports, one that's decentralized and community-driven.
Right.
Which is a pretty big departure from how things have traditionally worked.
Yeah, absolutely. And then second, it shows how Apertum is evolving.
Right. It's not
just meme coins.
Yeah.
They have genuine long-term goals.
I mean, that's a really important takeaway, I think.
Yeah.
That Apertum is more than just like a one-trick pony.
Exactly.
There's so much more to it.
There is.
Okay, what else?
So it also highlights this whole concept of decentralized initiatives.
Right.
Where communities can actually participate in and govern the projects that they believe in.
And that's something that we've been seeing more and more of.
More and more of, yeah.
And then for anyone who's like interested in getting involved in those early stage projects.
Yeah.
The ones that have that clear long-term vision.
The ones that want to have an impact.
Yeah, this could be a really great opportunity.
That liquidity pool you mentioned.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity to be an early supporter.
Of a really cool project.
A really cool project.
And I think at the end of the day, this all comes back to sustainability and how these decentralized platforms can be used for so much more than just like
speculation.
Yeah, like financial speculation.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about the future of SportsFuture?
So your sources mention some upcoming things, including leadership pools, airdrop schemes.
So it seems like they have a lot of interesting things planned.
Yeah, they're trying to engage the community and incentivize participation.
And then there was that new promo video.
Yes, from DO1.
That's coming out soon.
It's going to be on their YouTube channel.
Okay. And for everyone at home who wants to stay up to date, where can they go?
So the best way to stay informed is to subscribe to their YouTube channel.
Okay.
Which is youtube.com at Apertum-go1.
All right. And is there anything else?
Yeah, there's also a dedicated SportsFuture Telegram channel.
Oh, perfect.
If you want to join the community.
Okay.
And follow the project.
And that's at asiri.me/sportsfuture.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So to sum up what we've talked about today,
yeah,
SportsFuture seems to be this really purpose-driven project.
Yes.
It's all about providing support for athletes.
Yeah.
Through this really cool decentralized model.
It uses community governance and the SFUT token.
Exactly.
And hopefully this deep dive has given everyone a good understanding of not just SportsFuture, but also the whole Apertum ecosystem.
And how it's changing.
Yeah, and all the different types of projects that can exist on these platforms.
And I think a really interesting thing to think about is how these decentralized, community-driven models could be used in other areas.
Like what?
Like, what if there was something like this for artists or scientists?
Or even local community initiatives.
Yeah, it could really change how these fields are funded and supported.
That's a really interesting thought.
Yeah, so think about that as you go about your day.
I will.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
See you next time.